Walk into any garden centre in America, the United Kingdom, Canada, or Australia right now, and you will find plants on the shelves that have killed children, sent adults to cardiac intensive care units, caused permanent blindness from skin contact alone, and produced one of the most toxic substances ever identified in the natural world. No warning labels, no age restrictions, no notification that the beautiful flowering shrub you just placed in your cart has documented human fatalities attributed to its ingestion. A 2020 review published in Scientific Literature confirmed that mandatory toxicity labeling of houseplants and ornamentals is still not required by applicable legislation in most countries. The nursery industry sells beauty. It is not required to tell you what that beauty can do to your family. This video will. And for every plant on this list, there is a safer alternative that gives you the same look, the same color, the same garden impact, without the risk. Pay close attention, because some of what comes next will genuinely surprise you. The most dangerous commonly sold garden plant in the world is not exotic. It does not require special growing conditions or a rare plant collector's catalogue. It grows across the entire southern United States, throughout Australia, across the Mediterranean, and in every warm climate on Earth. It is sold at hardware stores, big box retailers, and garden centres in every city that has a growing season long enough to support it. Its name is Oleander. Its scientific name is Nerium oleander. And every single part of it, the roots, the stems, the leaves, the flowers, the seeds, the sap, and the smoke produced when you burn pruned cuttings on a bonfire, contains two potent cardiac glycosides called oleandrin and ricin that inhibit the sodium-potassium pump of the heart muscle. These compounds do not degrade in heat. They survive the burning process and enter the lungs in smoke. A case study published in the journal Acute Cardiac Toxicity documented a 21-year-old woman admitted to an emergency room with vomiting and cardiac dysrhythmias 15 hours after consuming an extract of 10 to 20 oleander leaves. The deliberate ingestion of yellow oleander seeds, the Vetia peruviana, is documented by the American Association of Poison Control Centers as a method of self-harm, specifically in Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia, with a case fatality rate in untreated patients of 5 to 10%. Thousands of cases are reported annually. In 2022, the AAPCC recorded cardiac glycoside plant exposures in 2,007 cases from 47,956 total plant exposures reported that year. Oleander is the most commonly reported cardiac glycoside plant in those cases. This plant is available at your local garden centre for $8. Symptoms of oleander poisoning appear within 4 hours of ingestion and include nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramping, bloody diarrhea, bradycardia, ventricular dysrhythmias, and heart block. Treatment at a hospital involves activated charcoal and, in severe cases, digoxin-specific AB antibody fragments, the same antidote used for pharmaceutical digoxin overdose. The compound in oleander is structurally similar enough to pharmaceutical digoxin that standard digoxin immunoassays cross-react with oleandrin, complicating laboratory diagnosis. If you want a bold, flowering, heat-tolerant shrub for a warm climate garden, the safer alternative is agapanthus, commonly called the blue lily of the Nile. It produces tall stems of clustered tubular flowers in the same purple and white colour range as oleander, thrives in the same full sun and dry conditions, attracts the same pollinators, and has no documented toxicity requiring emergency intervention in humans or pets. One plant, no cardiac glycosides, no emergency room. Same garden impact. Foxglove has been cultivated in European gardens for centuries. Its tall spikes of tubular flowers in pink, purple, white and cream make it one of the most recognizable cottage garden plants in the world. It is also the source of digitalis, from which the pharmaceutical drug digoxin is derived, the same drug that oleandrin mimics in toxicity. Foxglove, digitalis purpurea, contains cardiac glycosides throughout every part of the plant, including the leaves, flowers, seeds, and stems. In 2022, the AAPCC recorded 2,007 cardiac glycoside plant exposures, with foxglove among the most commonly involved species. The critical detail that most gardeners do not know, and that makes foxglove uniquely dangerous in a home setting, is this. Children have been poisoned by drinking the water from a vase containing cut foxglove stems. The glycosides leach into the vase water within hours. The water looks clean. It smells like nothing. A child who drinks from a flower vase containing foxglove has ingested a concentrated cardiac toxin. Symptoms of foxglove poisoning include nausea, vomiting, confusion, and life-threatening cardiac arrhythmias. The AAPCC data confirms moderate to major morbidity in 2% of cardiac glycoside plant exposures, with 1 recorded death from plant source cardiac glycoside exposure in 2022 alone. Foxglove is sold freely at virtually every garden centre in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia. It is one of the most popular cottage garden plants in cultivation. There is no label on the pot telling you not to let your toddler drink the vase water, the safer alternative that delivers the same tall, dramatic, tubular flower spike without the cardiac. Toxicity is Penstemon digitalis, the beer tongue. It produces white to pale pink tubular flowers on stems reaching 3 to 4 feet, blooms at the same time as foxglove, attracts the same hummingbirds and bumblebees, and is a North American native plant. It was named Perennial Plant of the Year by the Perennial Plant Association in the Huskers Red variety. Non-toxic to humans and pets, requires less water than foxglove, lives longer as a garden. Perennial, same visual effect, none of the risk. Lily of the Valley is one of the most beloved garden plants in the world. In France, it is given as a gift on the 1st of May, as a symbol of happiness. It is used in wedding bouquets. It grows in woodland gardens, in ground covers beneath trees, and in containers on shaded patios. It has been cultivated for its fragrance since the 16th century. It also contains over 40 different cardiac glycosides, making it one of the most chemically toxic plants in routine garden cultivation. The compound concentration in Lily of the Valley is high enough that it has caused cardiac poisoning in adults who drank water from a flower vase, mirroring the foxglove risk, but with an even higher glycoside content per gram of plant material. All parts of Convallaria majalis are toxic, including the orange-red berries produced in autumn, which are attractive to children precisely because they look like a brightly coloured candy. The berries, the leaves, the flowers, and the roots are all equally dangerous. The ASPCA lists Lily of the Valley as toxic to cats, dogs, and horses. Ingestion causes a drop in heart rate, severe cardiac arrhythmias, and in significant exposures, collapse. For the same woodland ground cover effect in shaded areas, plant Solomon's seal, Polygonatum multiflorum. It produces arching stems of pendant white tubular flowers in late spring, spreads steadily in shade to form the same kind of dense, lush ground cover as Lily of the Valley, and has the same elegant, understated garden presence. It is classified as having low toxicity, with no documented cases of serious human poisoning from garden exposure. Its berries are also black rather than orange, which makes them significantly less attractive to young children. It is a direct replacement that most gardeners have never considered because it sits quietly on the nursery shelf without the marketing history that Lily of the Valley has built over 5 centuries. Castor Bean is where this list becomes something that should genuinely make you pause before you continue gardening the way you always have. Ricinus communis, the castor bean plant, produces ricin, a toxin so potent that it has been classified as a potential biological weapon by the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Ricin is one of the most toxic naturally occurring substances ever identified. A dose smaller than a grain of salt is sufficient to cause death in a human adult if it enters the bloodstream. The castor bean plant is sold at nurseries across the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia as an ornamental garden plant. It produces dramatic, large-lobed leaves in green and bronze red, grows 8 to 12 feet tall in a single season, and looks genuinely impressive in a large border or as a privacy screen. The seeds, which are contained in spiny red seed pods, look like a swollen tick, and contain ricin in concentrations that have caused fatal POI, sonnings in children who chewed them. The AAPCC has documented castor bean exposures in American children annually. Even a single seed chewed and swallowed by a small child can be fatal because chewing breaks open the seed coat and allows ricin to enter the digestive system. Swallowing a seed whole is less dangerous because the seed coat limits absorption, but chewing, which children do instinctively with anything unfamiliar they put in their mouths, removes that barrier entirely. There is no antidote for ricin poisoning. Treatment is supportive only. If you are growing castor bean in a garden where children or pets have access, understand that you are growing a plant whose seeds contain a compound for which medicine has no specific reversal agent. The safer alternative for dramatic, large-lobed tropical foliage is New Zealand flax, Phormium tenax, in its bronze and burgundy cultivars. It produces the same bold architectural presence, grows to similar heights in warm climates, tolerates drought and poor soil, and contains no ricin or any compound requiring toxicological concern. It is a direct aesthetic replacement without the biological hazard. Angel's trumpet is one of the most common plants sold at tropical and subtropical nurseries, and one of the most frequently misidentified dangers in the home garden. Brugmansia species, commonly called angel's trumpets, for their large, pendant, trumpet-shaped flowers that hang downward in white, yellow, pink, and peach, are found at garden centers throughout the United States Gulf Coast, California, the Pacific Northwest, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. They are dramatic. They are fragrant. They are popular. Every part of the plant contains tropane alkaloids, specifically scopolamine, atropine, and hyoscyamine, in concentrations high enough to cause severe anticholinergic poisoning from a relatively small ingested dose. Symptoms of Brugmansia poisoning include extreme dilation of the pupils, dry burning skin, rapid heart rate, confusion, hallucination, urinary retention, seizures, and coma. Deaths attributed to angel's trumpet ingestion are documented in the medical literature. The plant is sometimes deliberately consumed for its hallucinogenic effects, but the margin between a hallucinogenic dose and a lethal dose is extremely narrow and unpredictable. Children who chew on the leaves or flowers, or who eat the seeds, require immediate emergency care. The sap causes skin irritation on contact. Pruning the plant without gloves exposes the skin to tropane alkaloids that can be absorbed transdermally. Brugmansia should not be grown in any garden where children have unsupervised access. The safer alternative for dramatic, tropical-looking trumpet flowers is trumpet honeysuckle, Lonicera sempervirens, a native North American vine that produces clusters of long, tubular, scarlet and orange flowers that attract hummingbirds with the same visual intensity as angel's trumpet. It is non-toxic to humans and classified as having minimal toxicity for pets. It grows vigorously over a fence or trellis, blooms from spring through autumn, and creates the same sense of lush tropical abundance without a single tropane alkaloid. True lilies are the most dangerous plants on this list for a specific population, and that population is cats. The Asiatic lily, Easter lily, tiger lily, stargazer lily, and many other species in the Lilium genus cause fatal acute kidney failure in cats from even minimal exposure. A cat that licks pollen from its fur after walking past a lily arrangement in the house. A cat that chews a single leaf. A cat that drinks water from a vase containing lily stems. Any of these exposures can cause renal failure within 24 to 72 hours that is fatal without aggressive veterinary intervention, beginning within hours of exposure. The veterinary toxicology literature is unambiguous on this point. There is no established threshold below which lily exposure is considered safe for cats. The toxic compound has not been isolated, which means there is no antidote and no targeted treatment. A cat that has been exposed to lily material requires immediate hospitalization and intravenous fluid therapy for at least 48 hours to have a reasonable chance of recovery. True lilies are sold at every florist, every grocery store floral department, and virtually every garden center in the world. They are one of the most common cut flowers in existence. The majority of cat owners who lose a cat to lily toxicosis did not know this information before it happened. The safer alternative for stunning lily-like flowers in a home with cats is the daylily, Hemerocallis, for outdoor gardens, with a caveat that daylilies cause gastrointestinal upset rather than fatal kidney failure in cats. Mince. In households with cats, any true lily should be replaced with the oriental look orchid, particularly Phalaenopsis varieties, which produce elegant lily-like flowers in white and pink and have no documented significant toxicity to cats. For the garden, the African lily, Agapanthus africanus, delivers the same tall, elegant flowering stem effect with zero documented fatal toxicity. Lantana is a plant that the nursery industry has positioned brilliantly. It is sold as a low-maintenance, heat-tolerant, butterfly-attracting annual and perennial in warm climates. Its flower clusters come in yellow, orange, red, pink, and purple. It is genuinely excellent at what it claims to do. It is also documented to cause liver damage and photosensitization in livestock, neurological symptoms in pets, and toxicity from its unripe berries, specifically to children. The berries of Lantana camara are green when unripe and turn purple-black when ripe. The unripe green berries are the most toxic, containing a tritopene compound called lantadine A that causes cholestatic liver poisoning. Children are attracted to the green berries and to the colorful flowers. Livestock deaths from lantana ingestion are documented in agricultural literature across Australia, where the plant is also classified as an invasive weed and considered one of the most significant environmental weeds in the country. The safer alternative that provides the same dense cluster of small flowers over a long blooming season with genuine butterfly attraction is Verbena bonariensis, the tall verbena. It produces clusters of tiny purple flowers on tall, stiff stems from summer through frost, attracts the same butterflies and beneficial insects as lantana, thrives in the same heat and drought conditions, and is classified as non-toxic to dogs, cats, and horses by the ASPCA. It self-seeds gently to return each season in mild climates and takes up far less space than lantana while delivering more height and vertical interest. Pencil cactus is a plant that has experienced a significant surge in popularity as the minimalist interior design trend has driven demand for architectural succulents and cacti that look sleek in modern interiors. Euphorbia tyricale, the pencil cactus, looks exactly as its name describes: upright clusters of pencil-thick green stems with no visible leaves. It is sold widely in nurseries and online. The milky white latex sap it produces when a stem is broken is severely caustic. Contact with skin causes chemical burns and significant irritation. Contact with eyes causes severe pain and can cause temporary or permanent blindness. Estrogen causes intense burning of the mouth, throat, and gastrointestinal tract, vomiting, and severe distress. Veterinary manual lists Euphorbia species as causing irritant and corrosive toxicosis in pets. The sapi is not inactivated by drying. A broken stem produces liquid sap immediately, and that sap remains caustic until washed off with soap and water. Eye protection is a documented mechanism of injury. A plant that causes blindness from SAP contact has no place in a household with children or pets and should not be handled without protective gear by anyone. The safer architectural succulent alternative is blue chalk sticks, Senecio serpens, which produces the same minimalist, geometric blue-green stem appearance as pencil cactus, grows in the same full-sun, drought-tolerant conditions, requires the same minimal care, and produces no caustic latex sap of any kind. It is non-toxic to dogs and cats, according to ASPCA documentation. One plant replaces the other perfectly in every design context where pencil cactus is typically used. Autumn crocus looks almost identical to the spring crocus that millions of gardeners plant every autumn as a bulb. The distinction matters profoundly because they are entirely different plants with entirely different toxicity profiles. Colchicum autumnale, the autumn crocus, contains colchicine, a compound so toxic that exposure to the bulb alone during planting, without any ingestion, has caused poisoning through skin absorption. Colchicine causes multi-organ failure. Ingestion causes burning pain in the mouth and throat, severe vomiting, bloody diarrhea, breathing difficulty, kidney and liver failure, bone marrow suppression, and neurological damage. The ASPCA lists autumn crocus as causing multi-organ damage in pets. The Countryside Animal Clinic documentation states it causes bone marrow suppression, in addition to the acute gastrointestinal and organ effects. There is no antidote. Treatment is supportive. Colchicum autumnale is sold at nurseries in the same section as spring bulbs. in the same type of packaging, often without clear differentiation from the non-toxic Crocus sativus, the saffron crocus. The confusion between these two plants at the point of purchase is a genuine and documented safety problem. Know which one you are buying before you handle the bulb. The safe alternative is Crocus sativus, the saffron crocus, which blooms in autumn, produces the same purple lavender flowers as autumn crocus, and is the source of culinary saffron. Its stigmas are edible and are among the most valuable food spices in the world. It is non-toxic to humans and pets. It even provides a harvestable crop. Plant the saffron crocus, and you gain an autumn-blooming ornamental that feeds your kitchen. Plant the autumn crocus by mistake, and you have introduced colchicine into a space where children and pets may encounter it. Rhododendron and Azalea are among the most universally planted flowering shrubs in the world. They are the dominant feature of spring garden displays at every nursery and big box garden retailer across the Northern Hemisphere. They are the plant that defines suburban front yards from Seattle to London to Sydney. They are also documented by the Merck Veterinary Manual as containing grayanotoxins, compounds that bind to sodium channels in nerve and muscle cells, causing prolonged depolarization that affects cardiac and nerve function. The Merck Veterinary Manual states that clinical signs develop within 1 to 4 hours of ingestion and include gastrointestinal, cardiovascular, and central nervous system abnormalities. The grayanotoxins in rhododendron species are the historical cause of what has been documented since antiquity as mad honey disease, in which honey produced by bees foraging on rhododendron nectar causes the same symptoms in humans who consume it. This is documented in historical records, going back to 401 BC in Xenophon's Anabasis, where Greek soldiers were incapacitated after consuming honey from rhododendron foraging bees in the Black Sea region. Cardiovascular collapse in severe cases has been documented in both humans and pets. All parts of the plant are considered toxic, with the nectar, flowers, leaves, and stems of greatest concern. The safer alternative for spectacular spring flowering shrub impact is sweetspire, Itea virginica, a native North American shrub that produces arching sprays of fragrant white flowers in early summer, develops brilliant red and orange autumn foliage that extends its seasonal interest well beyond what rhododendron provides, tolerates both full sun and partial shade, handles a wider range of soil conditions, including clay and wet sites where rhododendron struggles, and is listed as non-toxic by the ASPCA for both dogs and cats. Virginia sweetspire attracts pollinators, provides wildlife habitat, requires significantly less acidic soil amendment than rhododendron, and delivers 3 seasons of ornamental interest instead of 1. Here is what connects every plant on this list and what the nursery industry depends on you not knowing. The plants that are most dangerous are often the most beautiful, the most popular, and the most aggressively marketed. Beauty and toxicity are not mutually exclusive in the plant world. In many cases, they are correlated, because the same compounds that create vibrant flower color, intense fragrance, and dramatic form also serve the plant's biological purpose of deterring consumption. The nursery industry profits from your aesthetic response. It does not profit from your safety knowledge. That safety knowledge is what this video exists to provide. Every safer alternative named in this video is available at the same nurseries that sell the dangerous version. In most cases, it costs less, performs as well or better, and requires the same care. The only thing it lacks is the toxicological risk. When you walk into a nursery after watching this video, you know what to look for and what to walk past. That knowledge belongs to every gardener who has children, pets, or anyone else sharing the space where these plants grow. Share this video with someone who does not know yet. The information in it could prevent something that cannot be undone.